Hello, my name is Kolo and welcome back to another tier list video. It's been a little bit since I've done one, maybe 2-3 months. But this time we're going to be ranking HBR main story chapters. I have the main interludes in here too because they're just as important. Okay, let's get started with chapter 1. I would say it's a pretty good start. I think it's a good introduction to HBR as a whole. Nothing crazy happens, I guess. Like, the craziest thing that happens is you find out about Bungo. Yeah, it's the saddest part of the chapter, and I don't really have too many bad things to say about it at all. Okay, next is chapter 2. I'm not gonna do any spoilers. Well, I actually might have to, but not for this one. I think I will have to go into spoiler territory later on, but chapter 2 with the introduction of 31C. I mean 31B with Ichigo and Aoi. I believe chapter 2 was like double the length, so you can really feel that, but the end is really good. The build-up is pretty nice. Aoi is a pretty good character, and the music's actually really good in chapter 2. I didn't mention it in chapter 1, but I think the music in chapter 2 is better than 1's. I think I'm gonna put chapter 2 in A. I believe Chapter 2 is the first time Awakened Tojo shows up too. And this is also when the story gets very serious. The last minutes of this chapter are still really sad till this day. I could probably still cry. Okay, next is chapter 3. Chapter 3 has a lot of lore. It's a very lore focused chapter compared to the first and the second. We get introduced to 30G, our seniors, and I like them. Yuina's good. Monaka's fine for me. Tomi or Karachi, she's also fine for me. Hisame's cool, and Mia and Chie are also cool. But saying that, I don't think any of them are better than Aoi. Even with what happens in the end with Kura, I still wouldn't put her on the same level as Aoi. And aside from that, Awakened Tojo actually appears. I forget that some of what goes on in this chapter is about Tojo with Aegis Tower. She doesn't do that much, but when she shows up after looking at the pendant, she brings like a whole different dynamic to 31A. Aside from that, the lore drop at the end is also really important going forward with the story. But yeah, one more thing about this chapter, the dungeon part was not fun. It was like 5 days of straight back-to-back dungeons. It kind of got tedious. It was like around day 14 and 15. Okay, next is chapter 4, part 1. This one is really good for character development of 31A. Really, really good. After the lore drop at the end of chapter 3, they really all have to get over it. The way all of them get over it is really unique and written really well. I really like the final fight in this chapter too. Really, really good. We start seeing the cracks in Megumi too. That's done really well. And the music is really good. I'm pretty sure Particle Effect and Indra might come from this chapter, and that's why I think I'm gonna put it up here in A alongside chapter 2. I think I don't know if I'd put no, I think chapter 2 is better than 4 part 1. It's kind of close for me. I think 3 is better than chapter 1 though. Yeah. Okay, then we move on to the first main interlude, I believe. I don't remember what this one was called, but it was the one with Iroha. This one was short, right? It was like, I don't remember how many days it was, but it was like under 12. Something like that. Up till now, I completely forgot Iroha knew about the secret everybody in 31A knows about. This main interlude is mainly about Iroha too. I don't know why they chose Iroha as the character to focus on and find out the secret. What a weird character to choose. I like what happens when she finds out with the world looking dull to her now. I find it weird that they chose her because like she doesn't even have lines in these 2 latest chapters. Like she's just non-existent after this. I like the stuff with Gadedi in this chapter. There's a line in here that gets brung back up in 5.2. I do think that this is the worst one so far, but I think I'll still put it in B. Okay, next is chapter 4 part 2, and I believe this is the longest chapter here. I believe, yeah, I think it's like 24 25 days. It's been a while since I've played it. This this is probably, it's my favorite chapter in the game, and I think most people would agree. I feel like the Megumi section on its own could be A tier. Megumi's character development throughout this whole chapter is so good. I like that we actually go outside the base and we get to see the domes for the first time. I like all the things you do when you're playing as Megumi, like the fishing and interacting with the other residents of the dome. You really learn a lot when you play as Megumi. I also like the 31A side with Ruka, because they basically go on a whole journey, especially the sand part with the big ass worm, and then the end. The final boss is really good, very difficult too. I like that 30G got a little bit more screen time. I also love when Megumi comes back. Also the music, chapter 4 part 2, I think it has Shiva, one of the best soundtracks in the game. It's just so peak. Okay, next we have the next main interlude. I think this one's called Us in the Dying Season, or I in the Dying Season. This one's cool with the focus on Hama. It is really short. I like the song. Yeah, the song's really good. I like the squad fooling around trying to make the music video. That was good. Aside from that, it's just Tama trying to find her old friend, and yeah, she does that. But that's it, right? That's basically it. So I don't think I'd put this C, but I think it's maybe worse than the Iroha one. It's fine. It's just I don't think it's anything to like praise. Even after this main interlude, I still think Tama was my least favorite member of 31A, even though she's not bad in comparison to some of the other squads. I think this interlude on its own is by itself B, but if I were to compare it to all these other chapters, it's probably C. The thing is, I don't hate it or anything, it's just fun. Okay, and next we have chapter 5 part 1. This one's so emotional. You go through such a roller coaster with this one. With this being a Ruka focused chapter, it's done so well. Our main character, of course, had to have a really sad backstory. It was also a really good decision to tie her backstory into the main lore, and I love the way it involves everyone else. I forgot about the little subplot with 31B. That was cool with Higuchi. I liked her character development, but she's basically the same. Her demeanor doesn't really change, but I think, of course, something has changed, like mentally. And she helps out Yuki in the end, so that's good. I really like the part near the end with Yuki coming to terms with what happened. Yeah, that's really good. That's like my second or third favorite part of the chapter. That's really good. Chapter 5 part 1, so good. The music, man, this might be the best soundtrack for any chapter, actually. Maybe. I might put it, I think I'm gonna put it S. Out of all the new songs to come from this chapter, there isn't a single miss. Welcome to the Frontline, Bougainvillea, The Bait Soldier, World We Changed. I will say I do like 4 part 2 more, but they're definitely on the same tier. And finally we have chapter 5 part 2. Now this one I recently finished, like last week. This chapter focuses on Karin, Tojo, and Ivar. Ivar's part is probably the weakest. Her part in this chapter feels like if Megumi stuff in chapter 4 part 2 was like cut down immensely. It feels like Megumi light. I kind of feel like it's really rushed, especially the end part where a certain character dies. And I gotta say, I don't really feel anything for their death. Mostly because they like go straight past it. Like they die and then like they don't even talk about it in the next 5 minutes. I really did not care. Like it's like if Megumi's part in chapter 4 part 2 wasn't good. I really am being harsh on it, but it just wasn't that compelling. And I guess talking about the other part of the chapter with Tojo, Awakened Tojo. He's there the full chapter, and I honestly wish he wasn't, because like the whole time, he's really stuck up, very aggressive to everyone. I do not like the way she talks to everybody, like she's above everyone else. You know, I liked her at first, but I think she's in the chapter too much. She has like way too much screen time. It's fine when she's there in small bursts like she was in the last few chapters. But when she's there in the driver's spot all the time, she gets really annoying. I wish she switched out with her normal self a few times during the chapter. But she only does that like at the end. I should actually talk about what she did in the chapter. Of course, she's like the smartest person on base, and it's really not close. Well, with her and Higuchi, it might be close, but she can do stuff that she can't. I do really like the moment where she's in the helicopter. That's my favorite moment from her. I like when she's singing in the helicopter too. That was good. But aside from that, she's fine, I guess. She really got on my nerves in the last scene. She got really disrespectful with Ruka, which I really did not like. Unfortunately, she's like really unlikable for like the whole chapter. But moving on to the last part of this chapter with Karen. I like the inner world stuff with Karen and Karen-chan. That's how I'm gonna separate them. Of course, Karen doesn't get as much screen time as Karen-chan in this chapter. She's way more tolerable than Awakened Tojo because she's just had more screen time before Awakened Tojo, so we're like really used to her. Also, she just fits in with 31A more than Awakened Tojo does. She jokes around a lot. I like when she's making that song on the piano. That's really cool. I like her trying to compete with Awakened Tojo. That's good. That dynamic is still good. And when it comes to the ending, that was done so well. It really was a perfect goodbye, just like the song. I also like that normal Tojo, when she shows up at the end, she says, "Why didn't anybody ask my opinion?" That's really good. I really wish she showed up more during the chapter, as I said. The whole message with Karen is really good. Like, she's not a full member of 31A. That's done really well. Like, that's why I'm wondering, like, if this was set up. It's like chapter 1 with Maeda. Did he think about this? All in all, the whole Karen stuff is like so good. Tojo stuff, when she's in the helicopter, is cool. Unfortunately, she's just unlikable like the whole chapter. That kind of brings it down. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the stuff with Ivar making Karen get back up on her feet. That was good. I will say she does lose some of her aura after she loses. I didn't really like her being so confrontational, but she kind of needed to say what she needed to say to her to move the story forward, and she was like that because of what happened to her and what she saw. So I was fine with that. I think, man, the ending is probably my favorite ending to any one of these chapters. I think it goes in A. The music's really good. If Awaken Tojo was like a little more reserved, I think, because like nobody in the chapter can control her. Like, she's just above everybody else. Even Tezuka, she really does just get to do whatever she wants. Also, she glazes herself too. She's good at rage baiting others. Her attitude is kind of annoying too. I need to stop talking about her. But even with all that, this is still a good chapter. I would put these two, chapter 2 and 4 part 1 over it. But the ending is like really good. Like, I love that ending. So it deserves to be up here. Honestly, if you said you like chapter 3 more than 5 part 2, I really wouldn't be angry with you. I think they're kind of close. But I think that's all for this tier list. We have chapter 5 part 3 coming soon on the English server. Unfortunately, I do know one thing about that chapter already, but when that comes out, I will add it to the tier list. But as always, thanks for watching, and tune in next time to see what I rank next.